Welcome back to part 10 of fact checking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. from the presidential debate. Once again, Kennedy went off on a tangent, but I'm titling this one Issues Facing the Middle Class. So I'm going to roll the clip and fact check at the end.
Again, there's no parallel question for you in there, but let me ask of these two gentlemen, who would be worse as president?
I mean, I think you put your nail on that. You put the hammer on that nail perfectly. 70% of the American public say they don't want this contest because neither of them are running on the things that are absolutely critical to Americans right now. The only thing they have, the only argument they have is be scared of that other guy. He's a felon. He's a bad guy. He's going to destroy the republic. They're running on fear. If Americans want to vote out of fear, they're going to vote for these guys. If they want to vote out of hope, they're going to vote out of me. Because I want to talk. I want to talk about the fact that 71% of the people in this country are making less than the cost of basic human needs. I want to talk about the fact that under their administrations, the top 1% of Americans now own more than the 60% that represent the American middle class. Our country has utterly changed because of them. I run into elderly people who are cutting their prescription pills in two to make it through the week. Mothers who are downgrading their purchases at the grocery store to make it out of the checkout line. A couple in New Hampshire who told me they're in their bedroom or in their living room with a crying baby, arguing with each other about whether that baby is $50 sick or $100 sick or $500 sick before they bring it to a hospital. These are kids who come up to me every day and say that one day a week, they have to choose between buying gasoline and buying lunch. These are choices you're not supposed to have to make in this country. And it's them, these two, who are not telling the American people how they're going to get our kids into homes. And that's what I want to talk about.
Here's the first thing he said. He said 70% of the American public say they don't want this contest, referring to a Trump and Biden match-off. And this is true. This was polled in 2023. It hasn't been polled recently, but in October of 2023, the Harvard-Harris poll said 66% of voters want an alternative to Joe Biden and Trump. And that same poll in September of 2023 showed 72% want different options. And to claim number two, he said 71% of people in this country are making less than the cost of basic human needs. Now listen, I put this one as false, but I'm sure I'm going to get people who disagree with me, but let me tell you why. There are a million different polls and statistics, and everyone has different results and are looking at different data points. So this is what I found. According to the Federal Reserve, 71% of respondents say they took at least one action to adjust their lifestyle for inflation. So that could be switching to cheaper brands, putting off a big purchase, getting another job, or something like that. But does that actually translate to exactly what he said when he said 71% of people in this country are making less than the cost of basic human needs? I don't think those actually connect. Here are two more data points from the Federal Reserve that I think match what he's saying better, which is 37% of adults would not be able to pay for a $400 expense right now. 17% of people were not able to pay their bills in full last month. I mean, moral of the story, like there's a lot of people who are struggling right now. There's no secret about that. But does it actually reach that 71% that Kennedy was talking about? I would disagree on that. Now, moving on to claim three, he said, I want to talk about the fact that under their administrations, the top 1% of Americans now own more than the 60% that represents the middle class. I put this one as true, but it also depends on what your definition is of the middle class. According to the Federal Reserve, the bottom 60% of Americans' wealth combined is $24 trillion, where the top 1% alone is $35 trillion in wealth. Again, I put this as true, but that also depends on your definition of middle class. Some people would not consider like the 0 to 20% bottom middle class. They would look at the higher incomes. But that's what I got for you for this segment. And as always, let me know your thoughts and make sure you're following me for more.